You head out into the shoals, the thick debris field that surrounds Olivera. Ah, shoot, hold on. Let me take a sippy while I try and recalibrate. Alright, so Bliss was kind of like a little fast talking, a little clipped, is I think how I was doing them. What's happening here, sleeper? Bliss pokes their head into the cockpit as Serpent brings the ship in towards the signal coordinates Xander gave him. You look around the cockpit. Xander is tapping at the co-pilot console mounted in front of his seat in a haphazard way, while Cadence is asking Seraphin about how the rig works. Surprisingly, Seraphin is responding with patience and care. They'll help us find Carmen. If you say so. Bliss looks over at Seraphin and Cadence. Is Seraphin smiling? They shake their head. Something is going on. Bliss turns back to you. Judy is working on the ship's wiring and won't respond to my messages. He's probably in the walls. Hey! Welcome on by, Mad Cat. You were doing some yapping? What you yapping about? Talking about some fun stuff? I hope you had a good stream. If you got a raid and run, that's no scale off of my tail. At the very least, I implore you, stand up, wiggle around, leave a piss, take a water. Probably grab your water for someplace you didn't piss, but like, I'm not your keeper, you do you. I mean, I think the filtered, cool, refreshing stuff is the best, but like, you know, maybe you have other opinions. If you don't know me and are coming over for the first time, I'm Dreki, or Draconic Serpent, but it's dragon, or simply worm on the internet. And we are playing Citizen Sleeper 2. It's a bit of a sci-fi game. I think it has some really interesting mechanics. The story is a lot of fun. I have plenty of characters for me to do silly voices with. We've been having a lot of bad luck in our game sessions, but maybe we'll turn it around now. Maybe things will stop being completely fucked up because we could use a break. Our body's falling apart and it's not going so well. And we are trying to deliver some information to a hidden colony. And it seems like the person we were to deliver it to has gotten themselves in a pickle. We are trying to open up the pickle jar, so to speak. This metaphor ran away from me. Anyway. Junie is working on the ship's wiring and won't respond to my messages. She's probably in the wall somewhere, hooked up to the main line. They smile a weak smile. I'm here. So, how about you tell me what we are doing out here in the middle of nowhere? Quiet. Seraphin's voice cuts in the chatter. Is that? He gestures out into the debris field at a sparking, ragged-looking shape tucked behind a rock. Nice. Welcome, Scots peoples. Although, if you were streaming at Scots time, you probably were going for a good long while. You better self-care, or else. Xander rushes to the cockpit glass. Carmen. A moment of tense silence grips the room. That's his ship. You and Bliss exchange concerned glances. This isn't good. I'll bring her in. Seraphin's eyes are fixed on the wreck of a crumpled ship now. We don't know anything yet, so everyone calm down. Xander is silent, his face pressed against the glass. Cadence stares out at the wreck, her cheeks pale. No one speaks until the rig is brought to a stop. All right. Now we're gonna go out there, we'll have a poke around. Seraphin looks between Cadence and Xander. We verify the ship, and we recover the crew. Seraphin gives you and Bliss a nod. You both push off and glide towards the back of the cockpit. Suddenly, Xander pushes off from the window and glides with you, out of the cockpit. I'm coming too. We need someone to identify the ship. To identify... He stops and takes a breath. No problem. 7 hours is a full day's work. Take care and have a rejuvenating eeps. Are you sure, Xander? I'm sure. Xander gets the words out, then pushes on ahead towards the airlock. You follow behind, ready to suit up and investigate the wreck. Interesting. Reconstruct the ship. Okay. Also search the ship. He has some good dice. Not too bad. All right. And cycle. We should be able to finish Snake Eyes? Damn it, Xander, why are you taking Snake's Eyes? That's just rude. Alright, make sure we finish this up. The search of the Carmen's gutted ship has impacted the mood in the rig. As more and more evidence of an attack has appeared, the quieter Xander has got, and the more Cadence has retreated into the bunks. Now, with the search complete, you're gathered in the cockpit to discuss what's been found. Come on. Cadence floats by the door, hugging herself against the cold. Tell us already. Xander is perched on the back of one of the seats, flicking at some hinged container he found in the wreck. Open and closed. Open and closed. Explain carefully. You start by summarizing the search, talking around the details, picking your language carefully. Describe the damage to the ship, but not the attack. Talk about the occupants of the ship without mentioning what might have happened to them. Serpent quickly cuts in. What the sleeper is saying, he gives you a look, is that the ship was hit by weapons fire. Badly. And the drive was fired up, and they attempted to flee. Drive burnt out, and the ship, after hitting multiple rocks and bits of debris, came to a halt here. I'm wondering if the drive Ankita gave us was a warning about this planned attack, or like ambush. He takes a breath. We found no bodies. At the mention of that word, bodies, a shudder runs through those assembled. And they are here, somewhere. Xander has a steely look in his eyes, and we find them, whatever state they are in. He looks at Cadence. She nods back at him. Xander's right. We ain't leaving them out here. Carmen made Olivera what it was. He saved us. We won't come back without him. She shivers and looks at Xander. He'd do the same for us. Based on the damage of the ship, Seraphin begins. They're almost certainly dead. We get it. Xander cuts him off. There are debris trails leading away from the ship. I've seen them. There are. Seraphin holds his hands out in a calming manner. Those could be from secondary explosions or depressurization. We picked the wrong trail. It could lead us in circles, cycle after cycle. Time after time. And we better pick the right one. Cadence has Xander's steely look now, too. She stares directly at Seraphin, challenging him to answer back. He sighs. That's what we'll do. Oh. He looks at you with resignation. Whatever happened here, you won't be leaving until you see its end. 3 debris trails. Explore map. Floor map. I see. I see. Chat. I see. Push it real good. Do all of them have similar checks? They do. Explore map, explore map. Okay. And cycle. Ooh, we got some nice die. Xander got a nice die. Let's go. Oh, everyone we map goes to another in the chain. Oh, fuck. This is going to be expensive. Dice-wise. Okay. Follow the trail. Barren and airless caves. Okay, but what if I do explore it? What happens? Meanwhile, let's get started on the middle path. Cracking this open. The nice 6. We'll hold on to it for another thing. When the starboard trail led to the caves, little hope was rekindled in the hearts of the crew. After plumbing the depths of these dark passages, that hope seems to have snuffed out. Xander has struggled on in silence, only speaking to update Cadence on the lack of news via the cockpit comms link. But he speaks now, quietly at first, and then with increasing urgency. A lie. Sleeper. I see a lie. And with that, he kicks off hard from the wall and darts down a dark tunnel with reckless speed. You follow, but the tunnels are winding. You quickly lose Xander around a corner. You kick off from the same wall, trying to close the gap. When you come around that same corridor, you can't find Xander anywhere. And then you see it. Through a thin slit in the cave wall, a flickering, fading light. You cross over to it and see scratches and chunks scraped out of the rock. Someone has dragged something through here. You push away some of the floating rock, squeeze yourself into the gap. As you do, you watch the light pulsing inside the cave, setting the cracks and shapes of the rock in sharp relief. You search those shadows for something recognizable, but the light source remains out of sight. And then you're through. You steady yourself against the wall and look towards the light. There, beside a fading emergency lamp, floats a body. Its head instantly striking you as strange and misshapen. You know immediately, this must be Carmen. His head is shrouded in an emergency helmet, inflated around him like a balloon, while an oxygen canister floats nearby, attached by a tube. His eyes are closed, his body still. You try to settle your gaze on his chest to see the telltale rise and fall. And the light catches something else. Something broken and skeletal nearby. A face with bright eyes. Bright eyes watching you. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Flint. Oh, that's why Xander double took at us. We're not the first sleeper he's seen. Oh, Flint looks fucked up. Oh, looks like a fucking scrapper though. Damn. Also, hi, Fluffy Dirt. Well, come on by. A sleeper. Another sleeper. They watch you with lit irises. One's like yours. Their torn face reveals no emotion. They pose, crouched, coiled even, like a spring ready to strike. You're both frozen, unsure, afraid. Nothing moves. Your eyes trace the damage to their suit, their body. They look broken, worn down. You wonder if this is how you look to others, if they flinch when they see you, as you feel the need to know. Harmon! Xander's panicked voice cuts through the silence. He rushes forward to the floating body. As he does, the other sleeper pulls away from the wall, like a statue coming to life. For a moment, you go to intervene, to save Xander from the skeletal figure. But the sleeper falls on Xander to embrace him, and Xander returns the hug. You float, stunned, watching as Xander begins to carry Carmen's body from the cave with Flint, the sleeper, guiding him. Carmen is stable. Reading book right now. Nice! Books are always nice. Cadence comes out from the room that has become a makeshift medbay. He looks between you and Seraphin. Thanks to you. And Flint? Cadence pauses, choosing her answer carefully. Flint is in there with Carmen. They seem to be functional. She looks away. If that's what you mean. Head back to Olivera. Seraphin cuts in. He places a hand on your shoulder and steers you away towards the cockpit. Once you're out of earshot, Seraphin turns to you. You know Flint was a sleeper? No. Seraphin nods. He pauses. I don't want to be suspicious. I was just surprised. That's all. Seraphin glances back towards the medbay. They look different. What do you mean? I don't know. He sighs. Just something I wish they'd mentioned. I'll go and get her started up. He pats you on the shoulder and heads to the cockpit. Let's just keep an eye on them, okay? He leaves you floating in the corridor, unsure of what to think. Flint is the first sleeper you've met since you escaped the program. At this point, those memories are a little more than fragments and fictions. As the rumble of the drive runs through the ship, you can't help but feel a little concerned for what this might mean. Nowhere to go but home, I guess. Nope, don't end the cycle. Leave. You're left alone with Xander and Seraphin in the docks, while Carmen is carefully carried from the rig by Flint, guided away into one of Olivera's many tunnels and passages. Okay, I believe you. Xander shrugs his shoulders. Seraphin raises an eyebrow. Believe us how? You want saboteurs? He shoots you a sheepish grin. Oh, you never knew. I'd forgotten that. I won't remind you then. He winks. I need this to stop blinking, it's bugging me. Tell me, kid. Seraphin folds his arms. Are you so protective of this place? I mean, no offense, but I want to sabotage a tin pot colony in the middle of the shoals. Xander bristles at the comment, but controls his anger. You don't get it. Olivera is a refuge. How do you think we're hiding all the way out here? He glances at you, and then back to Seraphin. I would have thought you'd understand what's at stake here. You've seen Flint. Seraphin pauses, unsure of how to respond. Looks embarrassed into silence. Look, Xander says, playing the peacemaker. You brought Carmen back to us. Everyone in Olivera, well, thank you for that. How about you stick around for a bit and feel for the place? Need a resupply, we can help. Haven't got much, but if you chip in, you'll get your share. He bows his head a little. We're more welcoming than we appear. Don't expect to buy anything with those chits of yours. Xander puts his hands on his hips. Olivera is not for sale. Seraphin shrugs. All right, kid, He glances at you. We appreciate it. We need to hang around until Carmen is back and awake anyway. I think we'll be glad for the rest. See you round then. Xander touches his brow in a salute, and then kicks away, floating out of the docks. Serpent turns to you. Little shore leave doesn't sound so bad. We safe here? Seraphin shrugs. Safe as anywhere on the belt, I guess. He looks around. Hey, maybe even safer if Xander's gonna chase away any visitors off with a welder. He winks and glides away into Olivera proper. You're left floating in the docks, unsure of what comes next. Doesn't seem like Lane is going to find you out here, so maybe this is the perfect time to take a breather, at least until you can bring in Kita's drive to Carmen. You turn that little thumbnail drive over in your pocket. Time to see what Olivera has to offer. Alright, we got 2 cycles to burn. 1 cycle to burn? That's weird. As you leave the rig, you find a figure waiting for you in the docking tunnel. You get Xander's hostile greeting when you first arrived. Is that him again? Oh, it's Flint. What voice do I want to get Flint? Where are you headed? Flint leans away from the wall, now out of the battered suit you first saw them in. The damage to their frame is concealed beneath their overalls. You're still aware of it, just beneath the surface. Farm stacks. Same. Flint nods in the direction of the colony. I'll join you. You float together through the docks in silence. Flint makes you nervous. Their insistence on intercepting you this cycle hasn't exactly calmed that sensation. Breaking the silence eventually becomes unavoidable. How'd you end up here? Flint stares ahead, continuing their glide. Same as everyone else on Olivera. Carmen found me. The mention of Carmen's name recalls the image of him floating unconscious in the light of your work lamps, in those deep and winding caves. You suppress a shudder. Flint gives you a sideways look, their mask-like face, betraying no emotion. It is good you found us. They pause as you both move through a doorway. Could have been sooner. They blink, but better than nothing. Looking at Flint gives you an unsettling feeling, like catching your own reflection in a polished hull plate. Is this what others feel like when they speak with you? Watching the crooked mask, the lit irises for signs of human emotion? Interpreting the stuttering emulations of facial expressions as they cross your doll-like face? Flint turns away again and realizes they might feel the same looking at you. Each the other's mirror. Each reminding the other of the gap between being and being seen. How'd you escape? Escape SNR, you mean? Flint pauses. We aren't there yet, friend. We could share war stories another time. You arrive together at the winding entryway to the farm stacks, the gulping pulse of irrigation pipes humming in the walls. So, Sleeper. Flint's face curls in amusement as he uses the mononym everyone refers to you by. Olivera asks all of those it harbors to contribute to the colony. Show me what you can do. Oh, I can't fucking farm at all. Shit. You and Flint join the farmers in the operations bay of the stacks, listening in on the shift's opening huddle. Jobs are assigned, yields discussed, and repairs prioritized. You go to work with the others, clambering into the guts of one of the stacks to repair an irrigation pipe, then joining another team running a chemical analysis of the crop. The pulse of the stacks becomes deafening the longer you work. Pulse of the machines feeding their crop of kelp, algae, tubers, leaves, and roots, increasingly distracting and irritating. You chafe against the other workers, who treat you with suspicion and distrust. It leads you to become increasingly angry, clumsy, and, in the end, step back and let the work run on without you. Something makes you look to the side, a glint that catches your eye. And there is Flint, taking a rest of their own. You see it glint again. Flint turning something over in their fingers, watching it spin. vial of stabilizer. My last vial. Flint speaks without taking their eyes off the drug. Even through the haze of your lost memories, you can recall the fizzing, sickening pulse of that injection. The dependence your reboot freed you from. Saving it for a special occasion. Flint pockets the vial and meets your eye. You don't need stabilizer, do you? Flint moves away from the wall they were resting against. I noticed you were different from the first moment we met. I didn't realize what it was until now. The way you work, the way you move, without dependence. I see it now. Flint folds their arms. Hey buddy, maybe I can help you out. You tell them about the process you and Seraphin attempted on Darkside, the one that Lane interrupted. They listen absent-mindedly, watching the workers instead of you. That's not all though, is it? Flint meets your eye. There's something wrong with you. More than just your decaying frame. Your signal, your presence, it smells different. Smelling digital you have synthesizer? Dude. Lane did something to me. I've come to know that feeling. The feeling that I'm an object. A tool to be molded. To be shaped for someone else's use. Here, in Olivera, people are different. Flint looks out at the workers. But I still know who I am. What I bring to this place. All these people are at risk because of me. That means you, too, are at risk. A risk to your crew, to me, and more importantly, to this place. That is what is worrying me. Olivera will welcome you, just as it welcomed me. Flint stretches, and it will do so, in spite of itself and its own safety. I want you to know that, because they will pay the cost. Those close to you, and you must know that they pay it for you. With that, Flint turns and glides away, leaving no space for a response. You watch them leave, their billowing cloak revealing and concealing the glinting and ragged parts of their exposed exoskeleton as they go. Okay. Make sure we feed the Kibti. Okay, so we can get fuel. Food. Maybe if we get a 6, we'll try that. Okay, the farm stacks use a stat I'm actually good at. All right, fucko. Whatever. Let's try and clean out our stress. There we go, baby. We are no stressed. Non-stress. Refill our supply stack. The sound of raised voices echoes through the tunnel. Following them, you find yourself at the entrance to the clinic, where Flint and Xander are locked into a bitter argument. Won't take you out there, Flint. Xander is pleading with the sleeper. Look what happened to Carmen. They'll kill you. What happened to Carmen is exactly why I have to go. They will find me here. And when that happens... Oh, Colin, he can hear you too. Seraphin comes out of the clinic with cadence. Trying to wake up Carmen? You see Seraphin clock you, standing in the passageway. Your eyes meet, and Seraphin looks away. Neither of you seen each other since you brought Carmen back to the Olivera. I'm trying to make What happened to Carmen doesn't happen to anyone else. Flint folds their arms. I'm the reason he is like he is. And that means it's on me to fix it. What are you talking about? You catch Flint off guard. They hadn't seen you waiting in the passageway. S&R came for me. That's what happened out in the debris field. They look down. You know what that means. S&R, the company that created you. The company you escaped. The idea of them bearing down on this place sets your nerves on edge. You have long since slipped their grasp. Lane disabled your tracker in exchange for unwavering service. A gift became a trap. But Flint is still on the run. And if S&R attacked Carmen's ship, they can't be far away. You look at Flint and see the fear in their eyes. Tracker is still active. Olivera is shrouded. Flint looks towards the center of the colony. Carmen managed to get a hold of a signal shroud and set it up here. He wanted to keep everyone safe. There's no way S&R can track me here. Am I missing something? Seraphin interrupts. They can't find you here. What's the problem? It's not just about the tracker. That hunter found me in the debris field. They know I escaped. It's only a matter of time before their search brings them here. Silence falls on the group as the inevitability of the problem sets in. Xander looks distraught. You can't, Flint, Xander says in a quiet voice. They'll kill you. Seraphin glances at you and Flint in turn. You see his mind working on a solution. He looks away, frowning. I'm sorry, Xander. This is how it is. Unless we get them first. Unless we get them first. Seraphin smiles an impish smile. Seraphin, what are you thinking? Cadence speaks up for the first time. We know there's a hunter out there, scouring the shoals. We know they're looking for you, Flint. Seraphin shrugs. That means we have the upper hand. We don't need to bring them here. We can bring them to anywhere we want. Seraphin looks around at the group. So, we get set. We prepare a little surprise. And then, we wait. Flint is already shaking their head. The hunter could arrive here at any moment. We don't have time for this. If I had a ship, I would have left already. Then we move you now. We take you somewhere we can prepare. We work hard and fast to get an ambush set. The hunter comes. Seraphin grins. We spring the trap. Kind of trap. That, we still have to figure out. Seraphin admits. You have to admit, it beats going out to die without a plan. Shoots Flint a look. And hey, if we fail, outcome will be the same anyway. Flint doesn't respond immediately. You can see them thinking it through, considering their options. I'm coming. Xander has a determined look on his face. We're doing this, and I'm coming. Look, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm. This is a real thing. Bounty Hunter is not going to... Stop patronizing me. Xander cuts him off. I know the shoals. You need me out there. The conversation suddenly devolves to many small arguments. The location, who should go, how to approach the ambush. The noise grows. Old Sohan Manufactory. Cadence's voice rises, clear and precise through the noise. That's where you do it. It's on a rock far enough away from here. It's a real labyrinth. Lead the hunter there and get lost inside. Cadence's eyes are bright and determined. Place is full of old machines, ordnance. Been afraid to scavenge any of it, so it's unstable. You notice Seraphin watching Cadence speak, clearly impressed by this sudden shift towards decisive action. Bring the whole place down on their head. Xander picks up Cadence's thread. I know the manufacturer. Good idea. You look between those gathered. Seraphin, stubborn and protective. Cadence's sharp eyes. Xander's relentless desire to get involved. And Flint, a sleeper like you. A sleeper in need of an escape. Carmen was building something here. A shrouded haven. A place that needs protecting. Maybe unconscious behind those doors, floating amongst the wires and tubes of the clinic. But something of him is in here, in this group. making a plan of resistance. Flint's eyes meet yours, and you know what has to be done. The rig will leave this cycle. You have a hunter to trap. Oh yeah. Okay, we're at 5 out of 5 supplies. 5 of 6. I want to see what happens if I hunt for components here. Just scrap. Never mind. That's useless. Let's get fuel. Cool. Well, literally no reason not to get more components. And we go ahead and head out to the manufactory. I think Bliss and Cadet are gonna be our good ones, because I think we've got hacking covered. I don't think Junie's gonna be too helpful here. And before I need to do a whole bunch of hacking. All right, off to an absolute dog shit start. 3 1s? You gotta be fucking me. Corroded plates, twisted struts, scattered scrap. The manufactory makes for a familiar sight. Just one more ragged artifact from the corporation that once owned the system. Despite that, something about it sets you on edge. Perhaps because it also will form the crucible for your attempt to take on an SNR hunter. The kind whose entire job is to bring in escaped sleepers like you, dead or alive. The rig is tucked behind a rock, running on low power with its transponder off. That's enough to not draw attention. So, talk us through it. Seraphin turns back to Flint, Cadence, and Xander, all of whom are crammed into the cockpit, along with your crew. You have to make this place look like a colony. That's what the hunter will expect. Cadence suggests first, her voice quavering with a little anxiety. You can seal up some of the holes, maybe install some lighting, pick it up. Okay. Seraphin nods reassuringly. That's good. What then? Force him to go deep. Xander cuts in, and everyone looks at him. He pauses, a little intimidated by the attention, but Flint nods at him to continue. I've been out here before, on a salvage run. There's an assembly line that runs through the whole place, filled with old manufacturing machines. We seal the doors, activate the machines, make it a maze of malfunctioning construction arms and dead ends. Alright then, control their route. I like it. Seraphin smiles at Xander. And, if we get lucky, maybe one of those old machines will do the job for us. I doubt it. Flint joins in. We'll need the ordnance from the silos, mining charges, fuel, whatever is left from when this place was churning out Solheim goods. They furrow their brow. We'll blow the place. Make sure. A silence passes through the cockpit, the danger of what you are about to attempt dawning on everyone present. Okay. Seraphin has a dark look. That's the plan. You detonate the ordnance with a command from the rig. Simple wideband comm signal. We'll get them. Seraphin pats Flint on the shoulder. Once they go in, the hunter isn't coming back out. He turns to you. Anything we missed? What if they don't take the bait? Then I will engage. Flint rubs their hands together nervously. What hands? You only have one hand! Where's your other hand? Damn it, Flint! I'll lead them in directly, right? Right. Seraphin confirms grimly. How long do you think we have? There's a lot of factory down there. The hunter got to me and Carmen fast. Flint looks out the cockpit. No more than 3 cycles. When the hunter came for us, Flint grimaces, remembering the attack on Carmen's ship. They came out of nowhere. Just hard and fast. If it wasn't for Carmen. We need to be ready for anything. Flint looks at you. There won't be a warning. Seraphin sighs. Nice pep talk. Flint, you better find somewhere deep in that place, down into the bedrock. Make sure it has a back door, okay? He nods at the sleeper. Rest of us will get to work. All right, you heard, Flint. We do this, we do it right. Make our stand on this rock. Let's not waste a moment more. Great. 3 cycles to do all 3 parts of the plan. Yikes. Can I even do that? That's aggressive. Okay, all of us cannot. Okay, we can't prime explosives. And we can do this. Okay, shit. Okay, I need to focus on the assembly line. Oh, why are so many endurance checks? Fuck. So it's Intuit, engage, interface, Intuit. I really thought engineering would be useful. Gotta burn. Reroll. It's not good. Hack the machines. This is the one that only I can do. Neutral and negative. Can Cadet do anything? I guess work on sabotaging the doors? Okay. I don't want to rack up my stress. Freaking glitch dice. Kicks your door in. No, don't kick my doors! Can't believe you did this to me, Chimera. And I knew that was gonna fuck me in the worst situation. I'd have kicked a hole in the glass and called in it. Or that's just a broken window. All right. I wish we could catch a break, but we can't. We're gonna have to wing it and roll the dice. Hopefully they will play nice and we can trap the hunter, or we might get it punted. I guess Cadet can help here. Fuck. Can we get another 2? Fuck. Push. Okay, we've got a 6 and a 5. Me and Bliss can work on this one. Me and Bliss can work on this one. Okay, these are good. Oh, man. being down a die is not good. Okay, we will finish this one. Go easy with that. Flint's voice rumbles over the local comms as you secure the final piece of ordnance. You turn to see them floating, backlit in the entrance of the bay. One of many that you have rigged with ordnance deep in the manufactory. Down here, dust and flecks of rust float through the beams of your lights, and the walls are bent and buckled. They've spent the past cycles here, picking out a spot to draw the hunter down to. One they should be able to slip out of when the hunter finds their way in. A long time to be down in these dark tunnels, waiting. Looks like you're about done. Their voice is flat, their tone pragmatic. You okay? Flint nods, eager to be done with this. They look over their shoulder. However, it plays out. Flint guides into the bay slowly. There's something I need to tell you. Something I think you'll understand. What we are doing out here is not about saving me. It's about Olivera. You struggle to see Flint's face and the light behind them. I should be on a ship out of here, leading this hunter away, but they won't let me do that. They shake their head in frustration. And, even if they would, they can't spare the ship. Not after Commons got shot up. That was my mistake. I never should have let him persuade me to come with him on that supply run. Flint looks down. What is done is done. What matters now, what I need from you, is a promise. Flint's bright irises flash. That you'll bring this place down with me in it, if it means stopping the hunter. I promise. Flint nods. I knew you'd understand. You know as well as I that those who get as close to us are a risk. That we, as sleepers, have to recognize we opened the door to. Carmen is my fault. It won't be Olivera's downfall too. With that, they turn and leave you in the dark. Don't worry, we got this. Nice little 6 there. Good job, cadet. Oh god, the water's got me bouncing! Oh, I'm going everywhere! I'm playing defense around the void and you still found a way to jump in. Dang it, Chimera! You float for a moment, observing the chaos of the old assembly line. The scale of the structure, the number of machines, the arms and fabricators, the welders and bolters, suggests a industry on a scale you have never witnessed. The Helion system, a system that now subsists on the leftovers of its failed corporate owners, was once filled with manufacturers like this, churning out components and technologies, machines and resources for extracting the valuable materials and minerals that Solheim existed to amass. If someone was to rebuild one of these places, put back into operation, imagine what could be fed into the belt, what changes could come for its people. Yet, no one will undertake such a task, because this place is haunted by the specter of Solheim, an entity that every being in this system can trace their origins back to, an entity that turned the entire system into a manufactory, a machine for accumulation. And that did not distinguish between human and machines as it did. You look at the broken machines, worn down and rusted, crippled and bent. Some of them have been put back to use this past cycle as part of your plan, and those jerked or turned randomly, blindingly groping for components that will never be fed to them. None of them are sentient machines like you, so they cannot think or feel, and yet cannot decide if for them to persist is a kind of cruelty that radiates from the system that created them, or the indication of a new life, one that grants them a new function, new meaning, and the possibility of something more. Creepy, right? Xander floats beside you, his voice hissing through the close-range comms. Maybe the hunter will get spooked by those twitching arms. He imitates the scattered movements of the factory machines. More sad than creepy. Xander shrugs. If you say so. So. Xander gives you a look. How come this hunter isn't chasing you? My tracker's disabled. I'm kinda cool like that. Flint's kinda not good. Xander shoots you a look. Lucky you. Who did that? My captor. Xander goes quiet. I see. I can't deactivate Flints. Sure. Xander looks down. Well, you know, maybe once we are done here. He meets your eye. They need your help. Xander looks out at the assembly line and sighs. I like Flint. I'm happy to do this for him. For them. He turns back to you. And I want to like you, too. So don't mess this up, alright? Xander gives you a hard look. Don't let Flint down. Xander kicks off and glides towards the exit without waiting for a response. You watch him go for a moment before turning away. There's still so much to do. Alright. Push the die. Ooh, we got some good rolls, baby. Alright, alright. Problem is I think this is our last cycle, so I think we're fucked. $50-50. Hey, success. Yeah, losing that dice. We needed the economy. Yep. Didn't get all three. Great. Time to see how it plays out. Fuck. Wake up, sleeper. Seraphin is in the bunks. We've got incoming. You shake off the haze of forgotten dreams and get up. In moments, you're in the cockpit. Xander, Cadence, and Seraphin all gathered around the console. On it, the local view shows nothing. Not a single ship signal, and a few objects beyond a scattering of debris. It was right there, I swear it. Seraphin jabs at the screen. A ship. Small, but definitely a ship. Seraphin, Cadence sighs. We've all been up a while. Get some rest. I know what I saw. He catches her eye. You look at the screen. Gridded view showing the scattered signature debris, like schools of fish drifting in a soft current. The manufactory is a noisy blob in the center of the circle, one that dissolves into the background at its edges. Nothing. And there it is. A flicker. A flash. A spark of movement and light among one of the debris clouds. It flares, and then is gone again. You look up, and Seraphin meets your eye. He reads your expression immediately. Seraphin slams a hand down on the console, opening up the comms channel. Look alive, Flint! They're coming in! Go deep, and be ready to run. He pulls his hand off the switch. We better hope they heard that. Then you see it through the cockpit glass. The flare of an engine, faint and masked, but driving a squat, dark ship out of the debris. The Hunter. The ship seems to idle a little near the manufacturer's asteroid, drifting past the dressed-up shell of the old facility. We didn't have enough time. Cadence nervously clasps her hands together. Hunter isn't gonna buy it. You look out at the ship. It does seem to be hesitating, keeping to the edge of the asteroid's radius, not wanting to approach the docks. This place looks abandoned. Hunter might just strafe the whole facility. Seraphin swallows hard. Need them to dock. Come inside. You stare at the dark ship, willing it to move closer. Come on. Then you hear it. Cracking through the wideband comms. Flint here, nearing the deepest point of the facility. There's some serious ordnance down here. Should I go deeper? He's baiting the hunter. Seraphin doesn't take his eyes off the ship. Reaction is immediate. The dark ship shifting to the far side of the manufactory. It disappears out of view, descending through the framework of the facility's shell. Shit. They're entering in at the side. We won't be able to track them. Seraphin punches the console in frustration. I hooked up some basic monitoring devices in the assembly line. Xander calls over from the console. A few shitty cameras repurposed from the factory monitoring systems. Not much, but hopefully enough to tell where they are at. Cadence, Seraphin, and you crowd around the screen. Xander flicks between noisy black and white images and feeds of static. You squint into the fizzing dark, trying to pick out any detail. And then, suddenly, you see them. A shadow drifting beneath a flickering light. Dark clad in military gear. A long gun held ready at their shoulder. Deathly pale skin. And in their eyes, gleaming through the faceplate, glowing irises. What the hell is that? Seraphin pulls back from the screen. They look like the sleeper. Xander finishes Seraphin's sentence. The figure disappears outside the margins of the frame, and Xander flicks through the feeds. Where'd they go? You drift back from the screen, trying to think straight. A hunter is a sleeper, or something else. You replay the image of the figure in your mind, but it has already shifted in your memory. It is your face staring back. It is Flint's. It is the sleeper's mask of death. Sleeper? Seraphin grabs you by the shoulders and looks you in the eye. We need to focus. We should get down there. Xander's eyes are wide. This changes things. It changes nothing. Seraphin nods. We need to wait for Flint's signal. We hold here. The ordnance is in place. Seraphin looks at you for reassurance. Moment we get the signal, we blow it. You think of the mining charges rigged in daisy chains, the fuel barrels lashed to detonators, the command code ready to transmit from the rig. Seraphin sees the determination in your eyes. We hold. So you wait. Cadence's eyes on the manufactory below. Xander tapping at the glass. Seraphin perched by the console, listening for the signal. Then you hear it. The hiss of an open comms channel. You look to Seraphin, and he hears it too. A static haze that fills the cockpit. You all go still. Seraphin nods towards the indicator on the console. It's Flint's channel. Click. A scrape. And silence. Seraphin frowns, tapping at the controls. What? He scrolls. Flint's transceiver is gone. It's dead. Panic hits the cockpit. Xander gliding over to the console. Cadence going pale. Sleeper. Seraphin turns and looks back over his shoulder towards you. We need to go in. Go. Cadence looks between you, Seraphin, and Xander with a steely expression. I'll stay here. She glances nervously at the console. Give me the signal and I'll send the detonation signal. She swallows hard. If it works. Seraphin looks torn for a moment, and then nods. Let's go. You rush down to the airlock and suit up with the others, and then you're out, descending through the rock-strewn void in tense silence. You enter the manufactory through a gap in the frame, passing through layers of twisted facility into the deep parts, where you know Flint waits in the dark. You say nothing to each other, afraid the comms will be intercepted. You lead Xander and Seraphin on, seeking the deep bays under the silos, where you'll begin setting up the ordnance. Though unfinished, perhaps there's enough down here for this to work. If not... Seraphin's hand falls on your shoulder, pulling you back. You go to speak, and then you see it. A torch beam lancing through the dark. The hunter, as you saw them on the grainy footage of Xander's cameras, but real now. Just below, a long gun held ready at their shoulder, pushing through the dark and broken layers of the facility, seeking Flint. Seraphin, Xander, and you exchange wide-eyed glances in silence. The hunter passes below, disappearing into a dark passage. You wait together, the moment stretching out, then descend down that same passage. Silence is absolute. Suddenly, there is a flash of light ahead, bright and forceful, and a rumble that shakes rust flakes from the walls. Xander pushes off hard, launching past you into the dark. Seraphin goes too. You instinctively glide forward as another rumble shakes the foundations of the facility. You come into a low bay, scattered with glowing embers. Scorched holes in the walls spew drops of red-hot metal, where a weapon has been discharged. The hunter floats at the center. Taking aim again, you see a flicker of movement on the far side. Flint retreating. Before you can act, a slight figure in a suit slams into the back of the hunter. Xander. As he hits, the hunter's gun spins out of their hand. Well, let's try and grab it. You kick off, away from Xander and the hunter, as they grapple together, spinning in the dark towards a deep shaft at the far end of the bay. You spot the shape of the long gun as it spins ahead of you. As you reach it, your hand locking around the sculpted grip, you spin and raise it. The first shot goes wide, burning a scorching hole in the bay wall. The second shot grazes the side of the hunter's suit in a flurry of sparks. They're thrown away from Xander, unable to find anything to slow their glide. The hunter disappears into the dark of the shaft, leaving a trail of embers in the dark. You see fear in Xander's eyes as they turn back to you. The muzzle of the gun smokes, glowing red. It is spent. "We've got Flint," Seraphin calls over the local comms. "We send now!" You look across to the two of them, kicking off from the floor of the bay towards a ragged hole in the ceiling. You and Xander exchange a single glance, then follow. "Cadence?" Seraphin is on the wideband. "Detonate this place now. Send the command!" There is silence. You ascend through it, through layers of the manufactory, seeking the open void of the space beyond. You clear the manufactory, gliding into open space. A silent shockwave, like a gust of wind, runs through the void. The silent rumble spits out a scatter of debris. You turn back, still gliding towards the ship, and see the shattered manufactory. Whole sections are bending outward, the framework shredded, plating tumbling away in shards. You look across at Seraphin and Flint, their eyes set on the ship, trying only to stay ahead of the debris. You do the same, fixing your attention on the rig and nothing else. The hunter is dead. Well, I guess we leave then.